Hi, Assalamualaikum semua. Oh, forgot to speak English. Sorry. Very good evening to everyone. So welcome to Burning the Fire live session with me, MPP Kids, as also the Protokol and Public Relation Exco of the Student Representative Council of 2021 session KUPTM KL. Our special guest for today would be the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Students Affairs, which is Dr. Syamsul Fozy. So we'll be waiting for him at the moment. So majorly this live session, we will be talking about basically regarding on motivation. Because I, as a student, I would acknowledge the fact that a lot of students have been, venting, have been expressing their stress about the environment, how that is affecting their studies and so on and so forth. So me acknowledging that not only as a student myself, but as a part of the Student Representative Council, this is one of our initiatives in wanting to help all of you to maybe get an idea how to make sure that the fire in you, the motivation in you would always go on. So at the moment here, we shall wait for Dr. Syamsul and get excited. Alright, hi, Assalamualaikum Doktor.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Doktor dengar tak? Can you hear
I
me?
cannot hear you.
Okay. Wait. Can you hear me now?
I think we're having a little bit of technical problem over here.
Alright, okay.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, that's good. It might be either my earphone, which is my mic, or my internet connection.
All right.
So I apologize for that. So everyone, let's welcome Dr. Syamsul, which is also our Deputy Vice Chancellor of Students Affairs KUPTM KL. So for tonight, for our live session, Burning the Fire, we'll be talking about motivation, what derives us in having to be motivated to always be on track with our studies, be on track with everything with our life, especially during online classes, because we all know how stressful the pandemic has affected us. So, in your opinion, Doctor, as one of experienced people, how would you define motivation?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you very much, Aqilah, for having this session with me. I'm so happy to be here. This is a very significant session for me because this is the time for me to get together with the students, and sadly, this is the only platform that we have to meet each other nowadays. So first of all, let me wish everybody a happy New Year. It's not too late for me to wish everyone for a happy New Year, and let's pray that this year would be a better year, a good year for us. Even though I don't think we'll be getting back to the old life that we have had before, but I think we should be strong and we should be able to adjust to the situation better now, since it has been almost a year for us is experiencing this COVID thingy. Actually, in China, if you are to recall, the Wuhan it started around this time of the year in Wuhan. So in Wuhan, has been 1 year already. So anyway, for us, we have had a lot of adjustment being done, and one of the most important adjustment is whereby we are having we are having classes online nowadays. This is a very common thing now for us to have online classes nowadays, and not only for us in KUPTM, but everybody everywhere. in all the higher education institutions. So we have seen a lot of impacts of this online learning. Previously, actually, online learning is not a new thing for us. We've had this as known as ODL being implemented by online based higher education institution, for example, OUM, WOU, AEU. So they conduct classes online. So that's why, if you are to see, we are quite quick in adapting to this situation, whereby majority of our classes, if not all, are being done online now, and the system was quite fast in adapting and allowing us to use them for the classes. If previously we've never heard of Google Meet, now we are very familiar with Google Meet. We also have a Zoom platform and a variety of other WebEx, for example, and a variety of other platforms coming out. So among the major impacts that we can see is that learning could be faster, learning can be done everywhere, and learning can happen in almost every situation as long as we have the internet with us, and of course the device. But the device is not so much of a hassle nowadays since everybody seems to have a smartphone. But the internet connection would be an issue, whereby we have people climbing up trees and then climbing up hills so that they can get a better connection. Well, besides that, if we are to look at last semester's results, we can see that there's no major impact on the quality of the results. We can see that the results are still good. In fact, in some cases, the results are better. For example, in some of the communication classes and then some of the IT-oriented classes, they seem to be doing better last semester. So in terms of life, we are getting familiar with it. And then in terms of quality of education, we are getting better at it, and then we don't see much impact or much negative impact on it. But still, one of the feedback that we received is that the students feels that they lack the motivation. They find the classes a little bit challenging because they don't have face-to-face sessions with their lecturers. So a major impact or a major thing that is frequently be said is that the students are losing their motivation. They are no longer interested, or they feel bored in the classes. And yeah, for some, it may lead to something that is we want to avoid. Yeah.
True.
So as per your question, what is motivation? Now, this is relevant to the situation that I'm talking about, whereby students may lose motivation when they don't have face-to-face classes, F2F, yeah, F2F classes. This is not a surprising thing, especially in the context of us Malaysian, because throughout your life you have been having face-to-face sessions since primary school, since your kindergarten, and then into secondary school. We have been having classes in the classroom. And now there is this particular sudden change, and then we have to adapt quickly. For
True,
some,
very true.
for some, they may find that this is too much of a challenge, and some may give up. Some may decide to, I cannot do it anymore, and some may find that their results are affected. However, as I said earlier, we don't see much change in the quality of the results, but still, we always get students relaying their feelings, their dissatisfaction, their unhappiness about the online classes. Well, this is, as I said, relatable to motivation. And when we talk about motivation, as per your question just now, what is motivation? Okay, basically, motivation is a reason. If we look at the dictionary definition, okay, basically it is a reason or reasons for a person to act the way they are acting. For example, if you see a person go into the kitchen, so Aqilah, what do you think the person would do?
Maybe open the fridge first
Uh,
to find any food.
True. Yeah. And what do you think is the motivation over there?
Hunger? Maybe that drive the person to do
True.
that.
Yeah, very true. That is the motivation. The hunger, the need for food, okay, requires the person to go to the kitchen and find food. So that is motivation. So basically, motivation is why we do something. Okay. So it's important in learning. It's important for us to have motivation so that we can go on learning. Why? Because learning it can be something that is daunting, something that is challenging. Sometimes it's a difficult thing. Okay, we have variety of difficulties in learning, understanding, remembering, putting things,
Yes.
concept into order, and then doing your assignments. All these are challenging. So we need motivation. Why do we need to study? In other words, right? And
Yeah,
you'll be
that's true,
asking
very
yourself,
true.
why am I suffering? Why am I suffering? So that is why people simply let go of things. They don't want to suffer anymore. Okay, they put aside. But
Yeah.
actually, they forgot what is the real motive that motivate them to do their studies in the first place. So
True.
this motive is basically something, a need of a person, a desire of a person that causes a person to act. Just like when we feel hungry, we want to find food. If we
Yes.
feel bored, we want to go out. If we feel that we want to enjoy ourselves, we go and find, we go to the movies, for example. So a variety of reasons. If we feel sad looking at this poor person, we may decide to help or find ways to help the person. So that is the motive and the action of the reason of doing this action is what we call as motivation. Now, motivation is very important for a person in their studies. In other words, we need to understand why we want to study, why we are learning, kenapa we are doing this particular thing that is making us suffer. Okay, so basically that is motivation, Aqilah. And if we lose motivation, we may find there's no need for us to do something. We get
True.
demotivated. Okay,
Yes,
that's the
very much.
opposite of motivation, demotivated. That is what we don't want to happen to our students, especially in the online learning situation.
Very
Okay.
true. I really like your example of describing what motivation is. It makes people understand the concept that motivation is very important to drive someone to lead or to do something, to engage in something. So, as motivation is essential to drive students to maybe succeed or study and so on and so forth. So, how can we get the students to keep this up? Like, what ways would you recommend them, or maybe coping mechanisms that you would recommend or suggest for these students to always feel motivated, or whenever they feel like they're falling down or having a mental breakdown or burnout? What would you recommend?
Okay. Before I go on any particular recommendation, let me tell you a little bit more about motivation.
Uh-huh.
There's two major types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. The motivation, extrinsic motivation is the motivation that comes from outside of ourselves. For example, the temperature outside is hot, for example, so we are motivated to go find something cooler. Okay, your mother is scolding you, go and hang out the clothes. Okay, for example. Okay, that is motivation from outside. Okay, requiring you to act and do the hanging out the clothes. So that is extrinsic motivation. Yeah, there is another motivation that is within ourselves, due to our own reasoning, due to our own wants, due to our own desire. Okay, for example, I want to buy an iPhone 12, so every day I would work hard, extra at the 7-Eleven, so that I can have some extra money so that I can buy iPhone 12 Pro, for example. Okay, so that is from the desire from within ourselves, from inside ourselves. That is intrinsic motivation.
You
Now,
see.
in our studies, in our life, it is important for us to react and act based upon our intrinsic motivation, something that is within it. That is a stronger driving factor.
Very true.
For example, during fasting month, okay, we fast because we are Muslims, and we know it's a requirement for us, and we know that this is what our religion requires, and for Allah, in other words, and it comes from within us. So we want to do it. Okay, we see that there is a poor person at the roadside. Okay, we want to help the poor person. That comes from within us. Nobody tells us to do that. Easier for us to see people going to the movie theater or to the futsal courts, if compared to going to the surau, going to the mosque, because we enjoy ourselves, we have more fun, in a sense, at those places. So we go on our own. Nobody tells us, hey, you should go and watch a movie, for example. Okay, so to sustain intrinsic motivation, we should identify or relate to whatever that we are doing to something that is enjoyable and fun. If it is something that is enjoyable, if it is something that is fun, something that we like, it is easier for us to motivate ourselves to do it. So if a person likes to read, he or she likes to read, so they enjoy reading, okay, nobody would need to tell them that they should read. Okay, they would be reading on their own. So basically, that is what we mean by intrinsic motivation and how we generate intrinsic motivation. This is the best form of motivation, because we would always be reminding ourselves that we should do this, should do that. Now, to have a stronger intrinsic motivation, there are three factors that we should appreciate in ourselves. Okay, first, the feeling of autonomy. Autonomy meaning to say we are doing it because of our own self, and we are doing it on our own volition, without people telling us that you should do this. Okay, and then secondly, it should bring a feeling of competence, meaning to say, for example, if a person were to bake a cake, if you are to bake a cake, Aqilah, and then your father eats the cake, and then they would say, and your whole family would say, Aqilah, this is the best cake in the world. We never knew that you could bake a cake, such a cake. All right. So that brings a feeling of competence in you, feeling of pride and confidence in what you are doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
very
So
true.
autonomy, number one, the feeling of autonomy, doing something because you want to do it. And then secondly, competence, it makes you feel good. That is why after a presentation at the class, when you have a presentation, you will always feel that, oh, I feel confident, I did good just now. So because you feel competent, boleh pun, I could do it, rupanya. So for example, right? So I think a lot of people experience that. So the
Yes.
next time the lecturer says that you are going to have a presentation in the class, you won't be hesitant, but you start to make preparations, because you know that you are able, and then you want to show that you are able, the competence aspect.
Yes.
Autonomy and competence are the first two. And then the third one is relatedness, meaning to say it brings togetherness. This is especially strong in our community. Okay, this is especially strong in our community, because our community is a collective society. This Southeast Asian especially, people in Southeast Asian are collective society. Collective society means they like to work together. Kita suka, we like gotong royong, we like kenduri kendara, right? We like
Yeah.
being together during raya and cook together lemang, and then cook whatever lah, right? So this relatedness with our neighbors, with our friends, this togetherness helps us to feel motivated. That is why we seldom see people doing gotong royong alone.
Yes.
Right? We don't see people
Do
doing
that.
gotong. We don't have people doing whatever social work, for example, alone. They work together. This
Yes.
togetherness helps to motivate us. And when we have classes, face-to-face classes. Sometimes, for example, in the morning, you don't feel like going to class, for example. Oh, I feel tired lah today. And then suddenly I don't have the mood to go to class. But then suddenly you remember, hey, I have my friends at the class. They are waiting for me. And then I'm supposed to meet them at the cafe, for example. So it makes you feel, I have to go. I have to go. So you get up and then you prepare yourself and you go to the class. So that is due to relatedness and togetherness. This is a major component that is missing in our online learning situation. Because online learning, you don't like us now. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
you
not
are.
face to face.
I don't know where you are actually, Aqilah, and you don't know where I am actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same with the classes. You don't have your friends sitting beside you. You cannot borrow their pens. You cannot talk to them. And then, right, for example, and then you are
Yeah.
just like together in the for the lecturers. The lecturers will be looking at you in the monitor. We have so many faces. And then you will be looking at the lecturer alone, you are one to one. No
Yes.
enjoyment of being together over there.
Very
So
true.
these three components, autonomy, competence, and relatedness, is what self-determination theory suggests. This is a theory that is suggested by DC and Ryan. Okay, so they
It's
suggested the self-determination theory said that if people were to be motivated to develop intrinsic motivation, these three components, autonomy, competence, and relatedness, must be there. So help us generate intrinsic motivation.
I see.
So, in other words, for us, in online situation, when we have the classes online, nobody are actually forcing you, hey, you should go to class now. But you would know that you should switch on your Google Meet and then log into the Google Meet
Yeah.
and then have the lecture. So, but that is based upon your own volition. You are autonomous over there. And then you would also still have assignments to do. You will also have presentations to do. Okay,
Yes.
so you will have the competence element over there. But again, the relatedness element is missing in our situation.
Yes.
So this actually is affecting many students. So as if you are to your question just now, how do we keep our motivation? How do we feel motivated all the time?
Motivated, yeah, all the time.
Okay, actually your lecturers, us at the university, the HEP, we feel unhappy as well. Okay, for your
Very
knowledge.
everyone's
Okay,
experiencing it.
you don't know how unhappy it is, how unhappy it feels when we go to the office, there's nobody there. Of course, we have our colleagues over there, but we
It's very
don't see
few.
the students' faces. Otherwise, every Monday, I would be joining the MPP, giving out free breakfast.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then we would be expecting people walking here and there and making noise and then going to the cafe. We don't have that now at the campus. If we go
It's
to the level 4,
quiet.
sometimes it's quite scary as well. Okay,
Because it's so quiet
it's
there
like
now.
a ghost house, yeah. So it's quite
So,
quiet and everything, but it's no fun for us as well. Okay,
yeah.
but we feel that there we feel the department, especially the academics, if you are to notice, we've been having a lot of webinars nowadays. We have been
Yes.
a lot of live sessions. Almost all of the departments are having these kind of things in support of the students. Okay, because this creates a motivation for us as well, because we feel, hey, how to help, and then we together and then we go along. So now, what I feel or what I think we should do if we want to actually improve or maintain our motivation is to first and foremost find the fun and enjoyment in the situation of learning. There is always a silver lining in the clouds. There is always something nice about things. There is always something beautiful to be experienced. So look for that. So I cannot judge for everybody, or I cannot say for everybody what is enjoyable in your classes. But okay, first and foremost, find it yourself, because everybody would have a different definition and understanding towards what fun and enjoyment is. For some, it is fun to have a live session like this. For some, it is fun to look at their friends' faces. Okay, for some, they enjoy communicating with their lecturers while online, for example. So find this, what is enjoyable, what is fun in that situation. You won't get the same feeling, you won't get the same experience if compared to the face-to-face situation. But this is a new thing, like you are moving to a new place, like you are moving to a new town, okay? You have to find something that is new and enjoyable for you in that particular situation. So open up your minds, so that you can see a bigger perspective of things. For me, an online session like this is also fun, because I can speak one-to-one, okay? There is no need for me to actually wear something proper. I'm wearing my kind play card actually here now. Okay, I don't need to put on my jeans, so no, I
Yeah,
don't need
that's
to
the
go
thing
out
for everyone now.
from home. Okay, imagine how much money you saved by online classes. You don't have to go to class. Not go to class. You don't have to actually physically move. You have to start your cars. You have to for the LRT. Go through the rain. Now this is rainy season. Interesting apa? And then you can save a lot of money on food as well. You are staying at home, and you won't miss your parents cooking, your mother's cooking. Okay. Of course, you would have your little brothers and little sisters disturbing you, your cats, and don't worry, you can kick them out of the room. Okay, so these are all fun and enjoyable things that is a little bit different if compared to the face-to-face classes, but it is something that is to be appreciated. Okay, so that is one aspect, right, to make it fun and enjoyable. Secondly, for your classes, uh, secondly, be clear on your purpose. Why are you actually learning? This is back to my definition of motivation just now. Okay, be clear on your purpose. Why are you doing it? Why are you studying? Okay, if we look at motivation or reason, okay, the reason of learning, the reason of studying would be different in different facets of our lives. For example, for me, when I was in the primary school, my motivation, my reason, my purpose of learning is to get good examination results. Because if I get good examination results, my parents would give me presents. My school would give me presents. I can still remember until now when I got 5 A's during my times. We have penilaian darjah 5 instead of UPSR nowadays. So I got 5 A's. The school gave me a pen. Actually, it's a RM2.50 pen only. But the pride and happiness at that time. So when I was in standard 4, I saw my seniors, standard 5, standard 6, getting their presents on stage. So I felt that I wanted to do well, so that I can get good exam results, and then my parents will be happy. Okay. When I go to secondary school, my purpose has changed a little bit. I became a teenager, right? I remember my purpose is to be cool instead of studying. I
It's
want
a
to be
real
cool.
instinct.
Go to school, and then during my time, wearing our uniform differently. During my time, we used to iron our shirt a little bit differently. We have lines here and there, so that we have special lines, so that it's little bit different. And if we have gangs, for example, in the school, all my gangs would have 3 lines. So we are the 3 lines gang, to be cool. Okay,
So
so
interesting.
so that is But it does not necessarily mean it's good, you see,
Yeah.
because it distracted me from my studies a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
no longer exam results. But when I go to the uni, it's even worse. I want to be more cool. Okay, so my friends are all these happy friends. Okay, going here and there, enjoying ourselves. So, but when I started work, and I realized, hey, why these all purposes that I had earlier, good examination result, to be cool or to enjoy ourselves, is not really meaningful. Okay, so when I started working, especially Alhamdulillah, when I started working with KUPTM, I found that, yeah, it is so enjoyable for me to actually interact, relate to the students, deliver knowledge, a little bit, whatever knowledge that I have, and then see them grow and change. And now we can see the development of the students. So I enjoyed myself over there. I found the real purpose, okay, to be a person who is beneficial to others. Okay, so I wonder if I were to have such a purpose when I was in the secondary school, I might not be here tonight. Perhaps I might be prime minister ke, tak adalah. Somebody more significant, maybe. Okay, so if I were to realize in when I was in secondary school, I were to say I want to be a good Muslim that is beneficial to others, perhaps, okay, I may be acting differently during that time and perform better in my studies. So be clear on your purpose. There are a variety of purpose. Some people feel that their hardship, their difficulty in life, they felt that their parents are, just so happen they term themselves as a poor family, for example. This difficulty in life, they want to study, and so that they can change the situation of the family, for example. That can be a purpose as well. Okay, so there's a variety of reasons. Find a clear purpose on why you need to study. Okay, and basically I would suggest to be a good Muslim who be beneficial to the human being. So if you are to recall or remember that I am a Muslim, it is important for me to do something that is good. It's important. Gaining knowledge is part of being a Muslim, for example, and inshallah it would help you to find or have a clear purpose over there. So when you have a clear purpose, you would find that all these difficulties would be something that you can actually not simply put aside, but you can face the challenges that you are facing. Okay, there if you were to go jungle trekking, for example, if you are to climb a mountain, for example, you have a clear purpose. I want to be on top of the mountain. Yeah. Or if I were to go jungle trekking, I want to enjoy myself at the waterfall inside Kemensa. I usually go trekking over there. So that's the purpose. So whatever that I have to face to get there, I'm willing to face, except for a tiger. Okay, if I were to see a tiger, I would definitely run away. Okay, but the thing is that whatever challenges, difficulty, the slopes of the hill, the difficulty of climbing the hill, and these are all challenges that I'm willing to face so that I can get to the purpose that I have in my intention. So again, 3 tips from me over there. Find the fun and enjoyment in whatever that you're doing, and make sure that you have a clear purpose. Okay, if your purpose is clear and very apparent to you, you know what your purpose is, it won't be a problem. Okay,
Very true.
Mm.
Right. So here we can see that having clarity in your purpose regarding, as long as it is a good purpose, is very essential to just drive us to go on to be someone better, not just for ourselves, but also to contribute for the community. And as you mentioned just now, it's not just the students who are experiencing the impacts of the pandemic emotionally, but as well as the staff, the lecturers, the department of KUPTM. So this we can see that during the pandemic, a lot of people have been dwelling with depression, anxiety, having to be locked up inside the house, not having relatedness, just like how you said just now. So, as mental health could kill motivation, do you have any suggestions for coping mechanism? Like some students would maybe drive to isolate themselves, maybe starve themselves, cut themselves, or even worse, actually lead themselves to suicide. So how can we suggest them any healthy coping mechanisms that could help them to de-stress themselves?
Okay. Yeah, Aqilah, those who are familiar with me, those who have worked with me especially, they would notice I like to laugh a lot. Especially if a student were to come to me with a very big problem. The bigger the problem, the louder my laughter would be. Okay? Laughter is the best medicine. Of course, in other words, my first reaction, if I were to have a problem, I would gelak dulu. Then that is not a laughter because it is a nice joke, but the laughter would help to break the tension that I feel. Okay. Sometimes people get unhappy with me because they come to me and they, doctor, I have a very big problem. I cannot sleep every night because I have this problem in my head. And then I would start to laugh, and they say, why are you laughing at me? No, but actually my laughter is actually to help me to cope with that the situation. The best would always be if we take the Islamic way to istighfar lah. Okay. Whenever we face a challenge, astaghfirullahalazim. But somehow or other, I will always start with her laughter first. Gelak dulu and then astaghfirullahalazim, and then think about. Now, coping mechanism comes in a variety of ways. Again, it would depend a lot on an individual. But the key is to break the routine. What I mean by breaking the routine, every day we have almost the same routine. If, for example, for me, every day after subuh prayers, okay, I would prepare myself and then go to work, and then come. Of course, after that we have the same thing. Solat zuhur, and then after that solat asar, and then come home. Okay, whatever that is in between would be work, and then especially in nowadays, I have a lot of meetings, so it will be meeting and meeting and meeting every day. I don't know why we meet a lot, but my boss miss me a lot, I think. So we have meetings every day. So to break the routine, when we have this routine, okay, when the same thing occurs every day, then it becomes a little bit boring, a little bit mundane, a little bit tension for us, and especially for you guys. Where do you go for your class? In your room. Where do you go to talk to your friends, have discussion? In your room. Where do you go to watch a movie by yourself? In your room. That is what is happening at my home as well. My children are experiencing that. If you are to come to my place at my house now, everybody's in front of their own computers. My wife is working downstairs in front of her computer. My children are having their online classes in their rooms, and I am here with you guys in another room. It's a very quiet household. Okay, so imagine if we are to have that every day. It is going to be mentally challenging for us because we do something that is of a routine in a cooped up place, and then we don't interact with people. So normal people would need interaction. Nobody can live alone, okay, for more than 2 days, I think. Can you not speak to a person for even 24 hours? You always have the urge of talking to a person. Sorry. So we have to break this routine. As I said just now, my first reaction was always I would laugh it out. Okay. What you can also do is, of course, if I were to say, it would sound so very common, so very something that I know this already, but something that you don't do. Okay. Break the routine. Every evening, go out and have a run, for example. Go around your housing area, visit your neighbor, see people. Of course lah, with all this SOP, wear your mask or whatever that is necessary. Okay, but don't stay in your room throughout the whole day, 24 hours. Okay, that is number one. Go out of your room, break the routine. You know, tomorrow morning you'll be having class in your room as well, or wherever that you're having your classes. So why should you stay in that room all the time? So break the routine. And then when we have this breaking of routine, okay, I don't remember. Was it mm, was it from somewhere? I read somewhere. I think Rasulullah said, if you feel angry, move. If you feel unhappy, move. Meaning to say, if you are sitting, stand up. If you are stand up, walk. If you are standing, walk. Okay. So here the advice was for you to move. Okay, for you not to stay in one place. In when you are having sadness ke apa ke, you feel unhappy, you feel stressed, you have to have a physical movement. Okay, to help you with the coping mechanism. One. Secondly, generate a support group. When I say generating a support group, what kind of support? Okay, this is not like we have a cheerleader group in your house and they say go Aqilah. No, find friends of the same ideas, liking, nature, and now you can have a WhatsApp group. Create a WhatsApp group. Okay, these friends would be essential for you. Remember just now I said we miss relatedness. We don't have relatedness when we have online classes. So this would help to generate relatedness as well. Besides, sorry, besides allowing people, allowing you to relay your feelings, your unhappiness to other people. Okay, so this interaction would help. Okay, so that would be second. Thirdly, enhance your autonomy and competences now. What do we mean by that? If you can recall, during the first PKP earlier, the real lockdown, we start to have multiple kind of activities that we haven't seen before. For example, ladies began to cook more, okay, and then for men start to cook as well, and then people have started to sell things online more intensively, variety of things. But actually all this and another thing is that if you can see on Shopee, a lot of people bought a lot of exercise equipments, the cycling, the bicycle, things like that. So these are all part of coping mechanism. Yeah. So just now, as I said, firstly, break the routine. Secondly, start a support group. And thirdly, enhance your autonomy and competence. Okay, enhancing your autonomy and competence does not necessarily mean that is something that is only limited to whatever that you are studying. If you feel that autonomy and competence are only on studies, no, but you can also develop new hobbies, develop new interests. Okay, so challenge yourself to actually face this kind of the stress that we are having due to this online and distance learning. Now, that is one component. The other component is that is for, in a sense, normal people, I would say. All right, the stress that normal people are having. But I do not deny the fact that there are people who are not well mentally. they have there are a variety of mental issues nowadays. Not only nowadays, it has been there all this while, but people get to realize more about it nowadays. Bipolar disorder, for example, and a variety of things lah. Yeah. So these kind of things, you have to get treatment for it. And when you said just now, there are people who went to the extent they can commit suicide and all those. So these are irrational behaviors that is a bit. I'm not saying that if anybody who is online now feel that they are actually wanted to they tried to commit suicide earlier, and I'm not saying that you are crazy ke or anything. Tak, but you have to find help. Okay, and this would be professional help. Okay, at the college, at the campus, we have Puan Nik, Puan Wan Su, our counselors. Okay, they are always open 24 hours. When I say 24 hours, it's not like you can call them up at 1 o'clock in the morning, but you can actually DM them. They have their IG. Even I can help. You can DM me at my IG. Of course, you won't get an immediate answer all the time. There would be times that you can get immediate answer if you are lucky. But there are times that, for example, now if you are to DM me, I won't be replying to your DM. Right? But the thing is that you have an avenue for you to release and get and ask for help. Inshallah, we will try to help. For your information, this is a true story. We do have students who are having mental issues at the campus, and after referring to the counselors, okay, we do refer them to the hospital to get real professional medical attention. Okay, so as I said just now, first we have the normal people, normal stress behavior, stress situation. But secondly, we do have real people who need real help. Not everybody can understand this kind of people or people or who are having this kind of difficulties. If you happen to be one of them, not you Aqilah, but those whatever in our session happen to be one of them, you feel that, for example, you cannot sleep every day. You cannot sleep at all. It has been 4 or 5 days that you haven't slept, for example. Or if you feel that in the morning, after subuh, during subuh, you feel okay, motivated and all. But after subuh, all your energy seems to be gone like that. And then you start to lie down one whole day. You don't even get up to eat and things like that. You need help. And please do know, please take note that there are people who are willing to help. Okay, do not put yourself into denial. Jangan kata, oh sebenarnya I'm okay. Actually I'm okay. Just a little bit moody now. This is because I had a break with my boyfriend. This is because my girlfriend did not answer my call just now. No. If you are in a prolonged suffering situation like that, get help, contact us. That is the minimum that we can do at this present moment. But again, there is always ways for people to help you and assist you. Okay, committing suicide is not the solution, because you might fail in committing that suicide. There are people who fail commit, and it is a very painful experience. If you commit suicide and you don't die, it's a very painful experience. So please don't do such a thing. Get to us. We are here for you. Okay, we are here for you. Find help, and actually, if you are to voice out your situation, you will realize, hey, there are people that can help. Okay. So Aqilah,
Sorry, do you have anything more to say? I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No. Yeah, whatever difficulty that you are facing, please always remember, Allah would not test us with something that we cannot face. Allah tak akan menguji hamba-Nya dengan benda yang dia tak dapat hadapi. So we have to be strong. This is just a test from Allah, and then towards our betterment. to make us better, to make us stronger. To tell you frankly, everybody face the same kind of situation. Frustration, failure, dissatisfaction. Everybody face all these kind of things. Please do not feel that I am the biggest loser in this world. Okay, I am the only person in this world who is feeling such a way. Okay, so again, as I said, normal stress situation, we break the routine, we try to find ways to get support and then enhance our autonomy and competence. And then, but if you feel that you are in a situation that you feel that you are actually living in a cave, everything is dark around you, you feel it so difficult, you cannot cope with it, get help. Okay, please get help. Okay, yeah, Aqilah.
So that is a very good sharing. And like how you said just now, I'm not pointing to me. I'm actually one of the patients at the psychiatric clinic in Seremban. I would say that because due to this pandemic, a lot of people are actually self-diagnosing themselves. So self-diagnosing yourself would be very harmful. This is just sort of a piece of my advice. So following what Dr. Syamsul suggested, which is like breaking the routine, generating a support group, and enhancing your autonomy and competence, are actually very good ways to cope with your stress, with depression, anxiety. And if you do feel like you are dwelling with any sort of mental illness, always reach for professional help. If for the bare minimum, you can reach out to counseling, to Counseling KUPTM. Maybe they could test you out with the DAS test, which is depression, anxiety, stress skill. And if it is worsening, you would please do seek professional help and do not deal it with yourself. Okay. So my next question is actually quite redundant with the previous one, which is what would you do if you are too overwhelmed with assignments and work, Doctor? So maybe you could share your own ways besides than laughing. Maybe what else would you do if you feel like, oh, penat lah dengan banyak-banyak kerja macam ni? Maybe your activities will inspire us to be healthier mentally.
Okay. Yeah. That this is actually, as you said, relatable to what we discussed earlier. Part of coping mechanism as well. You guys are heading. If I'm not mistaken, you are now in week 7, week 8. Is it?
Yeah. I think it's week 7.
Week 7 now, right? The middle of semester.
Yes.
And you might realize, mid-semester test done. What else to do? No assignment ke? For example, this is the period that sometimes always catch us unaware. I used to get caught in the middle of the semester when I was studying as well, because the first half of the semester we'll be having a lot of classes, a lot of preparations for us to do, and then the first few sets of assignments to submit have been submitted in the first 7 weeks usually, and then we'll have the mid-semester test. Okay, for some of the subjects, and then there may be subjects that don't have, but normally in general we have it that way. And then after the mid-semester test, we have been concentrating so much during the mid-semester test. Then mid-semester test, then we thought mid-semester break, and then mid-semester break or 1 week break, holiday, jolly, enjoy yourself. And then you thought the second half of the semester would be easier, without realizing or maybe forgetting that actually you have a lot of assignments to submit in week 13, week 12. Okay, and all these assignments are converging towards the final examination as well, right? I think that always happens, right, Aqilah?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So I experienced a lot of that, especially when I was having around 20 credits, 19 credits, 5 to 6 subjects per semester, and that is the time towards the end of the semester. That is the time that is so much assignment to do. I cannot talk to people. Damn, everything is so difficult now. Why do all these assignments have to have the same date for submission, right? These lecturers, they are so very heartless. Why are they doing this? So that is the period that you are going to face this coming 7 weeks. In the near future. Now, our mistake, I would say our mistake, along with me as well, when I was a student, is that we, as I said, we were caught unaware. We forget to actually organize our work properly. Okay, and we will always come to the point that, alamak, everything need to be submitted in 3 days time, and panic, tension, and that is the time our laptop would misbehave. Laptop crash lah, right? Phone credit habis, toner out of toner, or the toner will always, if you are to realize, the printer toner will always run out in the middle of the night before we submit our assignment. During my time, I have to actually start the motorbike and then go to the cyber cafe and print at the cyber cafe. I don't know why all these toners have to work together and then go against me. But but that's how life is. When we forget, actually, we have to be vigilant all the time. We have to be prepared all the time. It's not saying that we cannot take a break. We can take a break, but don't take too long a break that we forget that we have things to do. Now, first and foremost, to avoid all this, make sure that you know the dates of your assignment submission. The deadlines must always be in front of your eyes. You must put it in your phone's reminders, but don't put it on put it so that you can have around 7 days earlier lah, the reminder. Don't put it on the reminder on that day. Then on the day, hari ni baru we have the reminder. No. Okay. So put it all in front of you all the time, and then schedule up your work. Okay. Oh, this is so very common, right? All your lecturers have been telling you all this. During orientation week pun, they have been telling you all this. And again, I'm telling you all this because this is real. And everybody keep doing the same mistake over and over again. They wait until the last minute to do their thing. So as I always tell my students, don't go for LNG. I say, what do you mean by LNG? They were thinking about LNG, the company LNG, and last minute and gabra. Okay, if you have to wait for things last minute and then you gabra and then nangis and then kantoi and things like that. First and foremost, to avoid all this, schedule up your work. It just so happened there may be times that the assignment will be due the same day. It's very common, not a surprise as well. Your lecturers wouldn't know the first lecturer is submission on the 3rd of July, and then the other one is also, we don't know each other's schedule, right? So what we know is that we need the assignments to be submitted so that we can mark and then we can give you marks. So you will realize that there would be assignments that would be due almost the same period, the same time. Okay, so the next step is that for you to prioritize, identify, okay, what is urgent, what is important, what is urgent and important, what is not urgent, what is not important, what is not urgent and important. Okay, so I cannot say what these things are because I cannot evaluate for your situation. But let's say on the same date, I have 2 assignments due. Let's say one assignment is Bahasa Malaysia lah, contoh lah, right? The other assignment would be statistics, for example. Okay, on the same day. Okay, I would say statistics is more urgent and important if compared to Bahasa Malaysia. Okay, one, because I'm weak in statistics, I would take more time to prepare the assignment for statistics. I'm better at Bahasa, and then I would take a shorter time to complete my assignment in Bahasa. That is, that's one example of how I would categorize. The other way is that I would notice after the mid-semester, this particular subject is dangerous. I might be at risk for this subject. Statistics again, For example, after mid-semester, we can always feel already whichever subjects that we are not strong in, right? So that is a subject that is important. I would prioritize that instead of, again, bahasa, for example. Okay. What is not urgent, what is not important, what is not urgent and not important? They would be one, watching a movie, going out on dates, for example, having dinner at McD, all this. They are not urgent, they are not important, they are not urgent and important. Okay, but again, I'm not saying that you don't go on all these things. They are going to be part of the coping mechanism of breaking the routine just now, but still organize and schedule up. So that is, as I said first just now, how to avoid is to actually have and make sure that you know when your deadlines are. Secondly, how to control is how to organize, by organizing and identifying the urgency and importance of the assignments. And basically that is the situation of now. But let's say still you are stuck, for example, in that particular well that is filled with difficulties, then first and foremost, take a deep breath, relax, calm yourself down. There is always this feeling, the urge of feeling panic. Alamak, tak boleh, tak sempat. Oh, alamak, assignment, tutorial to submit, and then presentation to prepare, or project to submit. Oh, crazy. They will always have that feeling inside. Take a deep breath. Calm down first. Because if you take a deep breath, okay, it will push whatever that is inside. The air will push your diaphragm down, and then it helps to calm us up. It helps to do away with the knot in the stomach. Okay, so take a deep breath, and then relax, calm down, and then put things into perspective. How to put things into perspective? Back to what I said just now. Analyze and organize, identify what is urgent, what is important, what is urgent and important, what is not urgent, what is not important, what is not urgent and not important. Okay. Alright, Aqilah. I hope that is helpful.
Yes, very much. It does. It does actually, because I can see that when experience dealing and changing sections as well, I can actually observe different behaviors from different students. Some would want to do to the last minute. Some would actually follow your advice. They would organize the importance and urgency, which is very good. So I think a lot of students who are watching this, you guys can deeply take this personally and actually manage your life better, because when you do this, you would feel less stress, and when you feel less stress, you are not prone to be depressed.
But but there are people who feel that there are people who insist that they like doing things at the last minute because it gives them the best performance. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you feel that you're okay, all right. But normal situation, normal people, please schedule up your work.
Yeah, I do have seen people who have given me excuses like they prefer doing things last minute. So macam, kalau aku stress kan, aku boleh buat kerja lagi bagus. I mean, if for you it will, if you are doing individual work lah. If you are doing group work, it's best to, respect other people's time as well.
True.
Very true.
Yeah, can we touch on that a little bit, Aqilah?
Sure.
Because another feedback that I noticed earlier when the academic, the TNCA had a session earlier with the MPP, the brainstorm session earlier with the MPP. Among the feedback that I noticed is that they have many of the students were having difficulties in group work because you don't get to meet each other. And then now remember, we are human beings, we are interrelated. When we do, or when whatever we do, or whatever that we do not do would have an effect on us. That you should remember always that if you don't do something, it would have an effect on you. If you do something, it would have an effect on you. Either it's positive or negative, that depends on the situation. Now, working in groups is still a requirement in most of the programs or the subjects that we have, right? It's very common. Be responsible. Remember, you are part of a group. The thing is that whatever that you do not do or whatever that you do would affect your friends. It's okay if you feel that you should fail a subject. I intend to fail this subject this semester. But don't bring along your friend towards failure. Because not only are you not fair to your friend, you are not fair to them, their family, the society, and the nation, and all humanity. Why? Because if you pull along your friend towards failure, then that person fail lah that particular subject. This person fail this particular subject, and then they get sadly, for example, they failed the program, CGPA dia, okay, and then they failed GB, gagal dah diberhentikan, and then they go home being stressed, and then they feel unhappy apa semua, they start to take drugs, and then they start to take drugs, and then they get crazy, and they kill their parents. I see, all these kind of these are real things, you know. These are real things. It has happened, and it may happen again. So please don't be part of that. Right? So be part of this particular positive community that is always responsible towards each other. You remember that you are working with people who are willing to help you actually, because you are working with your friends. Your friends also is in the same situation as you. If they don't do anything, it will affect you. If they don't do their assignment, their part of the assignment, it will affect you. The same for you. If you don't do your part of the assignment, it will affect them. So you are all in the same boat. Why are you trying to kill each other in the same boat? Right? So be responsible. Even though you are in a sad situation, please keep others in front. Give priority to other people. Okay, because that is a responsibility for us as a human being. Yeah. So, if we are to talk about techniques of working together online, okay, please do not feel that this is something new, because we have been working with people from all over the world all the time actually. For example, I have had projects with my friends who were in the US. I have a friend who was in Nigeria. I was with a friend in a group, a friend, one in Nigeria, the other one in Palestine, and then the other one in the US. So we had to work together, and we did it online. Okay je, still we did it. Nobody got killed or feel unhappy. But the thing is that everybody must be responsible, and being responsible is part of growing up. That's it, right? So please make sure that you have your commitment. Please be responsible, especially when you are doing your group assignment. Okay.
So that's actually very touching, because I know not only me would have experienced that. I think most of the students who are watching this, maybe to a certain degree, or to a certain point, they would have experienced this. Either their group members not submitting their work on time, or maybe even their group members plagiarizing their work. That is one of the most stressful thing you can experience as maybe the group leader and so on and so forth. So if you ever happen to experience that, you can always tell your lecturer who is in charge of your program, who is in charge of your core subject. Because when you do, even though you have to do their part, at least you know that they are not taking credit for your work, by the least.
Aqilah, that is something interesting. You are doing their part, meaning to say you have to cover. You have to cover for your. I have had such an experience as well. This particular boy was very irresponsible. He said that he was having problem with his family, and a variety of problems, cannot submit his part of the assignment. So I had to do that assignment. Now, keep in your mind that if you have to do extra work, it will only make you better. If you have to do somebody else's part of the assignment, it will help you better. You see, you are going to be more knowledgeable than the other person. That his loss. but it's your gain. You see, you get to do more. I'm still alive. What doesn't kill you, right? It only makes you stronger. So keep that in mind. Jangan tension. Oh, tension lah, matilah dia ni, tak guna betul dia ni, rakyat mana lah apa semua. Tak guna. We channel that hatred, that anger, that energy of that anger into the assignment, and we would gain better. You know, imagine you are doing 2 persons work, 3 persons work alone, but you are actually going to be better. Tak apalah. There's nothing to lose over there. Nantilah, if they were to get the same marks as you, I agree that it is unfair. But don't worry, they will get it back somewhere. Not here, dekat akhirat. Tak apa, don't worry. But just keep in your mind, you are getting better. Okay? Right.
True, very true, because knowledge is not something that is actually accessible for everyone these days, and especially people who are not getting good internet connection, who are unable to access online classes. So you have an opportunity to gain more knowledge than the other people, which is very good. Maybe they won't experience the payback now, macam Dr. cakap, will be in the akhirat, or maybe during their work life, because they won't know what to do, and that will be impacting them. So that is very interesting, actually, talking about this, because we are able to relate with everybody about this, right? So my next, or maybe my last question, maybe depending on the time. On the basis, what is your wake-up call or routine that would make you feel motivated immediately at the starting of the day? Maybe macam I would cook good food, so that would make me feel motivated. So what about you, Doctor?
Okay. I don't have any particular routine, because as I said, if you are to notice from the beginning of my talk just now, and whatever that we have been discussing, breaking the routine is important for me, because I'm a person who doesn't like routine. Okay. So different people will have different opinion, different experience, different method, or things like that. So don't worry about what I say. Jangan, tak payah routine. Tak. If I'm talking about me, and then I'm talking about how it can be generalized, and if it is applicable, it is applicable. But if it's not applicable, find ways on how to relate back to your own situation. Okay. So as I said just now, I don't fancy routine, because routine can lead to stress for me. It just so happened, because I'm a very passionate person when it comes to my work. It's very common, if I were to work up until 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then imagine if I were to have that as a routine, then it's dangerous. But I do have an indicator for myself. Okay, what a few years ago, I had this bad experience of stress. You've been saying the word stress a few times just now. Now, stress is something that is important for us. If we don't have stress, we can die, actually. Right? Because if you have to study, look at the literature, we need a certain amount of stress for us to be able to function well as a human being. But if we don't have stress, as I said, it's possible for us to die. But if we have too much stress, it's even more possible for us to die. So this stress is actually stress is a situation that sometimes you don't realize that you're having it. A few years ago, I was heading a strategic business unit for the college, for the college, and then it was such a very stressful situation. But I enjoyed myself so much. As I said, I'm a passionate person when it comes to my work. So I was working and I was enjoying myself. I thought I was enjoying myself. In fact, I was enjoying myself, actually, up until when I had the breakdown. How do I know that I had the breakdown? I started to get stomach ache. Okay, I find it difficult to sleep at night. Immediately, automatically, if I were to doze off at around 12, automatically I would wake up at 3. Okay, so I cannot sleep anymore after that. And all those are, I never realized that they were stress. up until I started to lose my sight. Okay, when I started to lose my eyesight, then I realized, there's something terribly wrong with me. Went up to see the doctor, and then the doctor said, this is all these things that you are experiencing are relatable to stress. Okay, so that is why I've been talking about scheduling just now. I've been talking about breaking the routine, because these are all methods of us to actually control our stress. Yalah, besides mengaji Quran, besides solat, apa semua lah ya. Okay, so if you are to ask me what is my routine, I have no particular routine, but I always make time for me to actually de-stress. Yeah, I will always find time for me to de-stress. And two indicators I take for me, two indicators I think in general as well. If you feel that you are always tired, you start to feel having headache, stomach pain, and all this, that is and to me, in my situation, I start to lose my eyesight. Okay, that is an indicator for me that I'm starting to feel stressed. Or if you start to lose temper all the time, feel angry or sad all the time, all these irrational thoughts coming into mind, that is the emotional impact of stress as well. So if you have this kind of indicators on you, you have to find way for you to de-stress. Okay, my favorite will always be outdoor activities. My favorite will always be outdoor activities. If I have the time, if I can, I would no, not only if I were to have the time, I would make it a point for me to actually have time to go for hiking, for example, or have a simple run around the area. As long as I can have something of a physical nature. Now we cannot go for competitive sports anymore. No touch, no football or things like that. So, but fine lah. How? As simple as you going out and washing your father's car. That can be a de-stressing situation. Your father would be greatly appreciative, but you will get the benefit of it. So, back to your question just now. First, if you are to see how do I actually motivate myself all the time, first is by avoiding this stress for me. Secondly, what you can also do is, back to what I said earlier, find something that is enjoyable, something that is fun. Find something that is enjoyable and fun in something that you don't like. That is a very wonderful challenge. Okay, so if you feel that your studies are no fun, is not enjoyable for you to do your accountings, for you to do your assignments, find the beauty in it. There will always be a beauty in whatever that we are doing. Okay. Do we have interaction with the viewers? Aqilah, I'm not familiar with StreamYard actually. Do we have question, for example?
Okay, so far we have one question, but this is a very interesting question. Before I touch on the question, I'd like to just give a fun fact to other people, like how Dr. Syamsul just shared just now, when he feels stressed, he would go out and maybe go for a jog. So when you're exercising, you are releasing a certain hormone called endorphin. So when you are doing that, it makes you feel good. So if you're feeling stressed, like you're just sitting down there and then you have ample time to go on for a jog or maybe do a simple kickboxing workout, do so, because you are releasing hormones that is going to make you feel better. Okay.
Yeah,
so that's very good way to cope up with your stress, besides the maybe binge eating and so on and so forth. So we have one question here from Syukri. Setuju dengan apa Dr. Syamsul terangkan? Boleh moderator share juga apa yang student sekarang buat untuk keep the momentum from your observation or experience?
This person is asking you, not asking me actually.
I just realized that. Okay. Observation. Okay, for certain momentum, I'm the type of person, I'm actually introverted, so I do not relate too much unrelatedness, but it is true to a certain extent. I would want to talk to someone. I would want to express myself. So to keep up with my intrinsic motivation, which is on the relatedness aspect, I would actually ask my friends to go on Discord if you are familiar with it. So Discord is like macam Google Meet.
Mm-hmm.
You can stream together with your friends. So I would just maybe at night after Isha, after settling with all of the assignments, we go on Discord and then we would just watch a movie together. That is one way I keep up my momentum in terms of just distressing myself. Besides that, I do seldomly exercise when I feel like I'm motivated to do so. But I do like going out as well. My momentum that I keep up is to always list down what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
On top of the list would be the urgent and important one, and then to the bottom would be the not urgent and not important. That just like how Dr. Syamsul shared just now. I basically most of the things that I do to keep up my momentum. So far, alhamdulillah, my CGPA, no, not CGPA, my GPA throughout the whole semester during online classes are both 3.5. So I think from that, keeping up with this sort of behavior, with this sort of routine or organization does help me a lot in keeping up my momentum. And from my
Good.
observation for other people would be that they would always ask. If you do not know something when you are lost in online class, you do not just settle down and think you are acknowledging, not thinking that, oh, aku tahu nak buat benda ni, tapi sebenarnya you tak tahu nak buat benda tu. Always ask. It's fine to just be active, participate in class when your lecturer is asking, answer. Even if your answer is wrong, it's fine. It's completely fine. But you are learning throughout your failures. You are learning throughout your mistakes. So from that, when you are just actively participating and not being passive, either in class or outside of class, in group discussions or outside of group discussions, that would be one of a general way for you to keep up your momentum. So that is my answer.
Yeah, nice. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. And then I
Thank
wish
you.
that I had this talk earlier when I was a student as well. Then I would be a better student. You're setting a good example, Aqilah, and I hope that actually it depends on ourselves. Actually, we ourselves must determine what we want to do and how we want to react and act. So through this kind of talks, we can get ideas, we can get other people's experience and other people's opinion that can help guide us a little bit, and then perhaps it will be all this will be helpful. But again, as I said earlier, everything depends on us ourselves. If we have or if we need people to tell us all the time what is wrong or right, then we are not developing our maturity in the future. It is going to be not something good for us. Okay, so
Betul, betul. I would like to also touch on one thing that has helped me so much in keeping my momentum. Not to sound religious, but I think Dr. Syamsul, you will also agree on this, is to always take care of your obligatory prayers.
true.
Always do so much, because I've seen so many. I wouldn't pinpoint anyone.
Yeah,
There's some
true.
people might have experienced culture shock going to KL, depan situ ada kelab, belakang situ ada kelab, and then you just near to every pusat hiburan. Maybe you would have been astray a little bit, but always so much keep up with your obligatory prayers and try to make time between you and God, because when you are doing that, somehow, even when you are rushing, even when you're feeling stressed, everything will just feel organized. That's my 2 cents on it. That's my 2
Good.
cents on it.
Good. Yeah, and I agree again. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I have experienced all this. I have seen all this happening in front of me, especially when during my time we were from the kampung, especially not we and the kampung during that time is not like the kampung now. Now even kampung we can have Wi-Fi and then we can still have internet, right? But during my time, kampung we have hantu, pocong and all.
Oh,
So kampung when and the culture shock component aspect would be always be there, and I would have friends. Apa kita panggil kita panggil mabuk lampu. Okay, coming to KL, we see lights here and there. Everything's so beautiful, and the clubs and whatever it is around. is very enticing. People get they forget Allah. They forget that they need to pray apa semua. This happens, and it ends with unhappiness lah for these people. Alhamdulillah, the people around me, we managed to avoid all these things. Alhamdulillah. So I hope our students would have the same experience as well. This is where I said the maturity of a person is important just now, and all these experiences would lead to the maturity in the person. Okay, Aqilah.
Alright.
Do we have any more questions? Huh?
So far in the comment, I don't see any more questions. And from me as well, I do not have any more questions. So I think we have come to an end for our tonight's live session. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Doctor, for sparing your time for us to share about so many beneficial things. I've learned so much, honestly. I even sempat nak catat-catat semua.
Oh, thank you very much.
I really enjoyed this live session so much. I've learned not only a few new things about eccentric motivation, but learning new ways to cope with stress and so on and so forth. So I hope everyone who are watching this are getting the benefits of this live session as well. So I think
So on my behalf, again, I would like to thank you, Aqilah, the MPP, and then as well as Unit Kaunseling for organizing this session. Actually, the main organizer would be the Unit Kaunseling KUPTM, right? Puan Nick and Puan Wansu. They were the one who started all this. I hope we managed to address the needs of our international friends, because that is why we are doing this in English. Okay, so I hope they are part of this the people, the audience. And then again, I forgot to wish them Merry Christmas if we have any of the international students with us tonight. I hope the session has been helpful and a little bit beneficial for everyone. And I wish that we would be together in the near future, because we really miss you guys at the campus. Be strong, look after your health. Whatever that this COVID thing is for real, please do not say that benda ni main-main aja and things like that. Okay, tak, it is for real. I have friends who experienced that. There are quite a number of our students. Up till today, we have 7 cases of KUPTM students being affected by COVID. We have one student who, sadly, the father passed away due to COVID. So this is a real thing, and that is why we are very cautious about this. Before we go, before I forget, if you are to notice, there are 2 institutions being strictly looked after. One is the surau, the mosque. Then they have strong SOPs for the mosque and the surau. And then the other one would be educational institutions. I was thinking all this while, why are we concentrating or being overly strict with these 2 institutions? We can go to the shopping complex, actually, right? We can go to the parks, we can go here and there, but these 2 institutions are being strictly looked after by the government, in a sense. We have strong SOP for solat. Now at my place, they only allow 3 people again for solat, and 12 people for solat Jumaat. And then us at the campus, we don't allow you guys to come back and things like that. But these 2 institutions are institution of tarbiyah and dakwah. Okay, that is my take on it, my understanding. Tarbiyah and dakwah for the generation of the future. If we are not careful with these 2 institutions, and these 2 institutions leads to a lot of difficulties due to COVID ni pada to the generation that is present now, and then it would lead to the generation of the future. So I think that is why the government is being very serious with these two institutions, and we at the university, at the campus, are also very serious about it. That is why we are very restrictive. Don't be sad or start to blame all other things. Ini semua COVID ni pasal lah. Diorang tak nak kita kat asrama lah. Tak. Kan? Do not blame things. But as I said earlier, find the positive in it. Take all this channel, all this unhappiness, bitterness, and anger towards something that is positive. Okay, because if we allow it to be staying negative, it will only burden us, no benefit from it. Okay, so I really wish on behalf of the university, all the management and all the staff, everybody look after yourself. I wish that I pray that everybody is protected from this COVID thing, and we would be able to be together soon, and we look forward to having you back at the campus when the time comes. So Aqilah, again, thank you very much. You have been a very good moderator. I really appreciate the session with you. In fact, among the best moderator that I've ever had. Moderator lain mula tension, alamak tak best ke aku. Tak. Not like that. Okay, but I really appreciate the situation, the way that you conduct the session. So I hope we can have more sessions after this, maybe on a different topic, or maybe I can be the moderator, you can be the speaker in the future. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much, and I pray that everybody would have a good year in front of them. Again, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much, Dr. for everything. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining our session today. On behalf of me and Dr. as well, I'd like to apologize for any, kekurangan datang daripada kami, and whatever good comes from Allah. So thank you so much. Good night. Have a good rest. Have a good year, everyone. See you guys soon. Anytime. Bye.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.